Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast.
Today we're looking at Mach Natural Resources. The big question is it a good time to buy now?
We want to hear from you. Subscribe, like, and comment to support the show. And if there's a specific company you want us to look into, leave it in the comments below.
So let's get into the analysis. For those tracking the energy space, Mach Natural Resources. Well, it's not just growing. It has fundamentally transformed itself just over the past year.
Right.
This isn't just, gradual expansion. It's a really strategic pivot. Engineered by a massive $1.3 billion acquisition strategy, pulling in assets from Sabinal Energy and IKV San Juan.
Okay, $1.3 billion. That sounds like a textbook definition of, well, aggressive growth. What does that actually mean for their operations on the ground? Are they just, tacking on acreage, or is it genuinely changing the whole scope of the business?
Oh, it's dramatically changing the scope.
Yeah.
The scale difference is immense. Their daily output, it's expected to nearly double.
Double.
Yeah, we're talking production jumping from about 81 MBOE up to a projected 152 MBOE.
Okay, MBOE, 1,000 barrels of oil equivalent per day, right?
Exactly. It's the standard measure.
Yeah.
And doubling that's a colossal operational commitment.
Puts them in a whole different league, doesn't it? And I noticed reading through, there's a significant portfolio shift happening, too, moving more into natural gas.
Exactly right. That's the strategic part. They're consciously increasing their natural gas exposure from 53% up to 66%. This isn't just diversification. It feels more like positioning. They're expanding their footprint across major basins, Permian, San Juan, Mid-Continent, and this move toward nat gas right now. Well, it could capitalize on global LNG demand and maybe lock in better forward pricing, help stabilize things against, volatile oil markets.
That makes sense. But it's a huge operational undertaking. When a company makes a $1.3 billion bet like that, my first thought is always the balance sheet. Are they financing this on a house of cards? Is it all debt?
That's actually the most compelling part of the fundamental story here. Despite these massive deals, the company maintains what analysts are calling a fortress balance sheet. Really strong.
Okay.
They reported trailing 12-month revenue of $930.94 million. That represents phenomenal 40.06% year-over-year sales growth.
Wow, 40% growth while swallowing $1.3 billion in assets. That's impressive. But let's go back to that debt ratio you mentioned. How does that look after the deals?
Absolutely. Key point. The metric everyone's watching is the pro forma net debt to adjusted EBITDA ratio post-acquisition. And that ratio, it's expected to sit at only 0.7x.
0.7.
Yeah. So to put that in simple terms for you listening, that means they could basically pay off all their operational debt in, less than 9 months of earnings?
That's very low.
Extremely conservative and healthy, especially for an energy company trying to grow this fast. And their existing debt-equity ratio is also pretty low at 41.1%, well below the sector average.
Yep.
They clearly prioritize financial discipline alongside this aggressive growth.
Okay. So operations look transformed. Balance sheet looks pretty safe. Now, here's where it gets really interesting for investors, I think. The valuation and that yield. Despite the growth numbers you just laid out, Mach Natural Resources looks completely undemanding, maybe even outright cheap.
So it really does seem like the market hasn't fully priced in the value of these integrated assets yet. You look at the trailing PE ratio, it's only 6.26, and the book value multiple is just 1.05x.
So
for a company growing sales at 40% and nearly doubling production capacity, those are seriously low multiples. It almost screams undervalued.
But the number that truly jumps off the page, and honestly the one that usually raises the biggest red flag for me, is the yield. They sustain an incredible annualized dividend of $2.75.
$2.75.
You do the math on that against the current share price. That translates to a massive 22.6% yield.
That's the number, 22.6%.
Yeah. Wait a sec. A 22.6% yield. That sounds almost too good to be true, especially in the energy sector, which can be so volatile. Is the market basically pricing in an imminent dividend cut? Or is this yield actually sustainable?
That is the critical question, isn't it? And the analysis, the source material we looked at, points pretty heavily towards sustainability right now.
Oh.
Here's why. That dividend apparently is entirely fueled by their robust free cash flow generation. The market's often skeptical of huge yields, assuming it's debt financed, right?
Right.
But in this case, the cash generated by their existing highly efficient operations, particularly in the Anadarko Basin, it's seemingly more than enough to cover it.
Ah, okay.
And that's what's attracting serious income investors right now. You get this growth story, potentially, coupled with sector-leading cash return. The valuation might be cheap precisely because people are still doubting that sustainability. It gives the stock this current, perhaps temporary, undervaluation.
And analysts are clearly seeing that upside potential, assuming management delivers. The consensus is a strong buy, which, isn't a rating analysts just throw around lightly.
Definitely not.
The average 12-month price target range is, what, $21 to $22.50?
Yep.
That implies potential upside of, wow, 72% to 85% from where it is now.
It's a very high conviction pick among those covering it. They even rank #2 out of 268 energy stocks on MarketBeat's market rank. That suggests the sophisticated financial models are really recognizing the structural change and the undervaluation.
Okay, let's connect that analyst optimism to the technical side. What's the price action telling us? Is it reflecting this, or is it still hesitant?
Well, from a price action perspective, the stock has shown notable stability lately, which is kind of surprising for a stock with this yield and growth profile. Over the past 3 months, it's maintained a series of higher lows. That pattern, you often call it technical base building or accumulation.
Right, suggests bigger players might be quietly getting in.
Exactly. It suggests that maybe institutional investors are, quietly entering positions. And their weekly volatility is also relatively low, about 3.3% versus the industry average of 5.6%. So this isn't some speculative wild ride. It looks more like measured accumulation.
Where are the key levels then? If you're watching the chart, what do we need to keep an eye on?
Support seems pretty firm around the $12 mark. That's comfortably above the 52-week low they hit back in early October. Resistance. Well, it's currently consolidating in that $14 to $15 range.
Okay.
A decisive break above that $15 level would probably signal that the market is finally starting to believe the story, believe the operational catalyst. And momentum indicators, things like the RSI and the MACD, they both show positive inflection, meaning momentum might be starting to shift towards the bulls.
And we shouldn't forget that Q2 earnings beat back in August, right? That $1.76 EPS beat consensus by 73 cents. That must have helped build some confidence.
Absolutely. That August beat demonstrated management's capability to run the existing business efficiently.
Yeah.
But now they face a much bigger test. The question really shifts from efficiency to, well, integration complexity.
Okay, so bringing it all together for the immediate future. If you're thinking about buying, what are the big events circled on the calendar? What's going to prove whether those, 21, 22 price targets are actually achievable?
The most critical short-term catalyst, bar none, is the Q3 2025 earnings report that's targeted for November 11th, 2025.
November 11th, okay.
This isn't just another quarter. This will be the first major look at the execution and integration of those massive Sabinal and IKV acquisitions. This report is really the test. Can management actually deliver on that projected production ramp up towards 152 and BOD?
That's the $1 billion question. And of course, the next dividend declaration is expected around November too, right?
Usually is, yes.
That timing always attracts the yield buyers, people looking to lock in that huge 22.6% return before it goes ex-dividend.
Precisely. Beyond those scheduled events, what's the sort of speculative buzz? What rumors could move the price?
Good question.
Well, there are rumors circulating about potential new joint venture partnerships, specifically in the Anadarko Basin. If that gets confirmed, it could accelerate growth even further, maybe improve their realized pricing.
Interesting.
And given their strong cash generation, that financial prudence we talked about, some investors are even speculating about a dividend increase beyond the current $2.75.
An increase on top of 22.6%.
Yeah. That would be quite a bombshell announcement if it happened.
Okay, we've covered a lot of the incredible upside drivers. Let's be responsible analysts now. What are the major risks? What do you need to be mindful of before jumping into a position here?
Sure. Well, the standard risk for any energy company is commodity price volatility, obviously. Their massive exposure to natural gas means, gas price swings will impact earnings directly.
Standard stuff for the sector.
Right. But the more crucial risk here, I think, is operational execution. Just think about the sheer logistical challenge of integrating these large, complex assets and aiming to nearly double your output all at the same time.
Yeah, what could actually go wrong? I mean, specifically in the field during an integration like this.
Well, all sorts of things. Everything from human capital issues, do they have enough skilled people, to technical problems. Are the legacy systems from the acquired companies talking nicely with Mach's own operational controls, trying to ramp up production that quickly puts immense pressure on safety protocols, on supply chains?
Right.
If they stumble during integration, the cost overruns could quickly eat into those impressive 22.5% net profit margins we saw.
That pressure is real, definitely. And it sounds like the market is kind of aware of it.
I think so, yes. It's also worth noting that analysts did recently revise Q3 earnings estimates slightly downward, just a minor tweak, from 30.31 cents down to 0.30 cents per share.
Small but telling.
Exactly. While it's small, it suggests that the street recognizes the complexity here. They're monitoring integration execution as really the single most important factor right now. If they miss the numbers on November 11th, well, that'll just confirm those investor feels about execution risks.
Okay, so overall, the investment thesis looks strongly bullish. It's rated highly, driven by that huge structural transformation, the sector-leading dividend, and that significant analyst projected upside. For you listening, it appears potentially attractive for both, maybe short-term traders looking for catalyst pops around earnings and longer-term yield-focused investors seeking net cash flow, backed by what look like solid financials.
Definitely keep a close eye on that November 11th earnings report. The success or lack thereof of the post-acquisition production integration, that's really going to dictate whether the stock starts making a move toward those $21 to $22.50 price targets, or if the market decides that maybe that 22.6% yield isn't quite as sustainable as hoped. The whole narrative for Mach Natural Resources right now really boils down to this. How much risk are you willing to take for that potentially massive cash-backed reward?